All right, hey guys, guess what? We are back. It is 2021, and I'm just so excited to be back. I'm so glad that you guys came back and watched. Let me just give you a little update on what happened since last time. Like last October is the last time we really made a video. And just to let you know, November came, I was feeding the bees, and I came back one day, and I noticed they hadn't eaten anything. All my food was still in there. And so I popped the top, and guess what? I was expecting to find a bunch of dead bees. Maybe that they had died. What I found instead was a completely empty hive. Sometime in October, November, they swarmed. They left. And I couldn't tell you why. For whatever reason, I had no bees. I'm the bee guy. I'm the beekeeper. I'm Tumbler Creek Bees and more with no bees. But guess what? That has been fixed. Thanks to my brother, Ray Turrentine, who went down to Texas Bee Supply and picked up my bees for me yesterday. We've got bees again. In fact, we doubled in size. We've went from 1 to 2. That's right, 2 hives this summer. It's going to be twice the craziness. But I'm really excited. What I've got here in front of me is called a nuc, or a nuc, I've heard some people call it. I'm going to call it a nuc until somebody corrects me. So I've got 2 nucs, and it's a little bit different than the package that we did last year. Last year I had a package. It was just bees and bees alone with a separate queen. I put them in the hive, shook them in there, put the queen, let her get used to them, and that's kind of what we did. This time the queen's already in here. The bees are already in here. Ooh, I can feel them buzzing. The bees are in here. The queen's in here. There are 5 frames in here. So what I've got is 5 frames in here and 5 frames in here in each of these. And what I'm going to do is take the 5 frames that have honey and brood and wax and all that stuff. I'm going to transfer them in here. And it's kind of like we've got a head start this year on our hive. So we're going to be a few weeks, maybe even a month ahead of where we were last year this time. Plus we're starting a few weeks earlier. And hopefully we're going to get to see, what is it we want to see? Honey. That's what everyone's begging me. Hey, you got any honey? I got no honey. I go to Pruitt's and get me some honey. I want to go to my backyard and get me some honey. So that's kind of the goal. Plus just to really take care of bees, right? There are pollinators. It's an important thing, man, is to have the pollinators. Without pollinators, we don't have vegetation. Without vegetation, we don't eat, right? So even if you're a beef eater, guess what the beef eats? They eat vegetation. So these guys are a little bit cranky today, I can already tell. We've moved them. They've moved in the last week. And then they moved again from Texas Bee Supply to here. And it's been kind of cloudy and overcast and rainy. And the bees just aren't in as good a mood. You know, if somebody gets into your house when it's cold and you're all cozy in bed and they pop open the roof of your house, you're not going to be very happy. And that's kind of where we are. So I'm going to do this as gently as I can, one at a time. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up one of them, smoke it up a little bit. That'll calm them down some, hopefully. And I'm going to lift these frames one at a time, straight up and down, and just put them in the hive one at a time. Make sure most of the bees are in there. A lot of them have already been out working. I saw some going in and out of the nuc with pollen on their feet. So they've already started working. We'll talk about a lot of that later. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put those in the hive today. I'm going to give them about 5, 6, 7 days to kind of calm down, get adjusted to their new home. And then I'll come back to check them, make sure the queen is still laying eggs, make sure they're getting used to their new home, and everything's okay. It's really neat to have 2 hives this year to compare them, to see how each hive is doing, make sure they're doing okay. So I guess without going any further, I'm going to go ahead and start. I'm going to pop the top off this thing and get it going. First, I'm going to set it down next to it. And these guys are called Texas 5000s. That's the kind of bee they are. Texas 5000. They're a little bit bigger. They're part Italian. Last year I had Italian. That's the most popular bees. These guys I've noticed are a little bit bigger. They're supposed to be excellent honey producers. They're not quite as gentle or docile as the Italians. So, you know, we got to be just a little bit more careful. They're a little bit more grumpy sometimes than the Italians. But we'll just see what we can get going here. This is actually the feeder. I'm going to take the feeder off. We'll put food in there for them later. I'm going to take one hive out. I'm actually just going to put 9 frames in here. I'm going to leave 1 frame out, and I'll put it away. But I've got frames from last year. There's already comb on there, already wax on there. That gives them a good head start too, which will be kind of nice for them. Make sure I've got some good smoke. This is a hive tool. It's just to kind of help break things apart. They've got some honey between these. And I'm just going to put them in the exact same order that they're in right now. Just one at a time. These guys are like, what are you doing? I'm not really looking for the queen right now. They've been disturbed just already quite a bit. So right now I'm just trying to get them in here. Get them in their new home. And give them a little peace and quiet. I'll just set that right there, that guy right there next to them. They can find their way back in, the ones that didn't jump out. Now maybe we can get that on there. And situated right. I'm going to feed both hives at the same time, so I don't have the top open on one hive when I'm trying to feed the other one. This one feels like it has quite a few more bees in it. It's a lot heavier. And we'll do the same thing with these guys. Just pop both sides a little bit. Oh yeah, there's a lot more bees in this guy. I'm going to break them all apart first this time. This one has got some good honey. Well, look at that. Whoop. This dude is loaded with bees. I mean loaded. Look at that honey. So we will probably put a top on this one here pretty soon. They are flying around, aren't they, Carly? Feeling pretty comfortable without a suit on? Several guys, you can tell they've been in there a few days. You guys might be asking, how do these guys know where to go? Which one's their home? Do they just swap out and spend each other's night? No. They each have their own home, and the way they do that is the queen. the queen puts out certain pheromones, and these bees are actuated with that queen. So they know that pheromone, they know how that queen smells, and they go to that queen's home or that queen's home. They don't swap houses. These guys will all go back to the same home every night that they belong in. They go to their own queen. The queen has already done this. She will go on one mating week in her lifetime. One. She better make it good, right? She's got 1 week to go mate. She goes and mates that 1 week. She will get fertilized enough to lay eggs the rest of her life, up to 1,000 eggs a day. She stays busy. So she's already been on her mating run. She's come back. She's landed in her, she's gone back to her own nuke at the time now. She's got a hive. And now that's where she's going to make her home for the rest of her life. She won't ever leave the hive again. She'll stay there. She'll lay eggs. She'll have worker bees taking care of her. There'll be drones going in and out, doing their thing, guarding the hive, doing their stuff. Right now they're going to do a little bit of cleanup. There's a little bit of extra wax, extra comb. They're going to start cleaning some of that up. If there's a mess at the bottom of the hive, they're going to clean that up. They do house cleaning. They're good little housekeepers, they are. So that's what they're going to do. What I'm going to do now is try not to step on bees. And I'm going to feed them. I bought some bee food. Usually I just use sugar water. But for this first time, I'm going to go ahead and feed them. This has some essential oils and stuff to help get them started in their new home. I'm going to give them each about a half a gallon of it. I'll probably have to come back Saturday. Today's Thursday, by the way. I'm going to post this on Sunday or Saturday. I'll come back in a couple days and I'll put some more sugar water in there for them to feed while they're getting used to it, while they're getting actuated. I'll keep them on sugar water for a while, but at some point I'll just take the feeder off and replace it with another box, and we'll talk about that later. Right now, let me just pour some of the sugar water in here for them. The way these feeders work, there's a reservoir here. There's a reservoir here. It'll hold 1 to 3 gallons of water. And then there's a tube that'll just a little slit in the bottom of the feeder that will allow the bees to come up and drink out of. They can come up and go down. That way they don't drown. They'll come up right through the hive into here, and they can get down there and get their food. And it won't take long for them to discover it. They'll find that pretty quick. In fact, I kind of want to sit here and watch, but that would be a little bit boring video. I guess I can cut it, but within just a few minutes, there'll be some bees climbing up in there, finding some food. Okay, so guess what? We've put the bees in the hive. We fed the bees. They're warm and cozy for the night. They'll probably be heading back in. It's getting late. Sun's about to go down. They'll probably find their way back in their hive, find their way back in the frames where they were, find some food, and in the morning start all over again. Now they've got a new home, lots of places to go. They'll go up to 3 miles foraging for their food and their different things. I've got a dog. Show Sadie. Sadie's going to get a hold of one, and she's going to wish she hadn't. But anyway, I'm going to put some bricks on here just in case the wind blows or critters try to come up. That way they stay. I'm going to leave these nucs out here, the empty nucs out here. I'll come get them tomorrow once they're empty and put them away. And what I'll use those for is hopefully someday if you guys have a swarm at your house up in your peach tree, you see 10,000, 20,000 bees. Hopefully I can come, get one of these boxes right here, bring them to your house, shake those bees into the box and take them home with me and give them a nice new home to live in where we can share some honey together. Guys, until next week, man, I'm so glad you came back. Thank you so much. We're going to have a great summer. We're going to be doing lots of bee stuff. We're going to do some Hank stuff with my tractor. We're going to do some garden stuff with our garden. We're going to do some pumpkin patch stuff when it's ready. It's going to be an outstanding summer. Who knows what kind of guests we might have come visit us. I want to thank Carly for videoing. And guys, we'll see you next time. Love you guys. God bless you. We'll see you soon.